Welcome to Easy English, your go-to channel for improving your English and life.
Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, we all have those moments, don't we? That feeling, maybe when you first wake up or mid-afternoon thinking, I just feel stuck. Like, I really want to change my life, but I honestly don't know how. Maybe it's work, maybe it's health, maybe it's just the daily grind getting you down.
Yeah, that feeling is incredibly common.
Well, if any of that sounds familiar, then this deep dive is definitely for you today. We found this source. It's a really straightforward guide called A New Life is Possible, a guide to transformation.
Simple title, big promise.
Exactly. So our mission today is to really dig into this thing, pull out the key insights, the practical steps it lays out for anyone feeling that stuckness and wanting real change. Because right from the start, the source is super clear. Change is always possible.
That's a powerful starting point, isn't it? Hope.
Totally. And uses simple language, feels very actionable. Perfect for us to just, unpack together.
It's interesting, as you said, it doesn't jump straight into the how-to. It starts by acknowledging that feeling, that stuckness, and immediately offers that core message. Change can happen. It sort of sets the stage, gives you permission to believe before you even start.
Right. Like before habits or routines, it forces you to ask, well, why? Why are you even considering this? Why do you really want change? That's the first big step it highlights, getting crystal clear on your deep why.
And it's not asking for a vague, I want to be happier. It pushes for specifics, doesn't it? With some pretty direct questions.
Yeah, like, am I actually happy? Or am I doing work I love? Even, am I growing or just surviving? Those hit hard.
They do. They force a level of honesty that might be uncomfortable.
But the guide says that strong why is your power source. If your reason is compelling, maybe you genuinely feel drained and sad every single day, and you know deep down that's not sustainable, that gives you the fuel.
Fuel to keep going when it inevitably gets tough.
Exactly. It makes it harder to just give up.
Yeah.
The guide even suggests writing that reason down, like
Yeah.
physically writing it.
Okay.
And reading it every single morning.
That makes sense. Taking it out of your head and making it tangible. A daily reminder of what you're working towards. It connects today's effort with tomorrow's goal.
Okay, so you've got your why.
Yeah.
What next? This is where the guide gets super practical, but in a really manageable way. It doesn't demand this massive overhaul overnight.
Which is often where people trip up trying to change everything at once.
Precisely. It says, look, change takes time. The secret, it's small steps.
Small steps. It sounds almost too easy.
Maybe. But think about it. It combats that overwhelm. Instead of revamp my entire life, it's wake up 50 minutes early.
Right. Or drink one extra glass of water today.
Yes. Or read just 5 pages of a book. Walk for 10 minutes after dinner. Stuff like that.
Things that feel doable. Achievable right now.
The guide argues the power isn't in the size of the step, it's in the consistency. These tiny changes, they add up. Do them daily, they become habits. Keep at it for a year. And the source actually promises you could be a completely different person. It hammers home that idea. Small steps lead to big change.
And psychologically, each small win builds confidence, right? You did get up earlier. You did read those pages. That creates a positive feedback loop. Momentum.
Which leads perfectly into the next piece. Structure. How do you make those small steps stick? The answer, according to the guide, your daily routine. But puts it very bluntly, your daily routine shapes your life. New life needs a new routine. Simple as that.
Your routine becomes the framework, the container that holds those new habits. It dictates how you allocate your time.
It asks you to take an honest look at your current routine. What do you actually do when you wake up? How do you spend your hours? Where's the wasted time?
That self-assessment can be revealing.
Definitely. And then really helpfully, it provides a sample daily routine. Not saying you have to follow it exactly, but as a template.
Okay.
It's quite structured. Maybe 6:30 a.m. wake up, some morning movement, perhaps an hour for reading or learning around 8 a.m., then focused work, maybe another bit of exercise later, some reflection or journaling, then aiming for earlier sleep.
So intentionally scheduling the important things.
Yeah. The guide argues this kind of structure helps keep you focused, healthy, and happy. It reduces that decision fatigue.
Instead of wondering what to do, you just follow the plan. It frees up mental energy for the actual doing.
Okay, routines are key. But the guide spends a lot of time on mindset too. And the first big mindset shift, letting go of the past.
Ah, yes. A major hurdle for so many people.
It identifies holding on to past failures, mistakes, or regrets as a huge reason people stay stuck.
That internal narrative of, I failed before, so I'll probably fail again, or I made bad choices, or even people won't let me change because they remember who I was.
It's like dragging an anchor, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the source is really direct here. It says, but the past is gone. It can't be changed. What you do today is what matters.
Powerful. Simple, but powerful.
It pushes you to let go of the guilt, the shame, forgive yourself, and adopt this mantra. I'm not my past. I'm starting fresh. This thinking, it says, gives you power.
It's about reclaiming your narrative. Accepting the past happened, sure, but refusing to let it dictate your present actions or your future possibilities, you redirect that energy forward.
It's not easy, of course. Takes conscious effort.
Definitely not just flipping a switch for most people. It's a process.
And connected to that, there's another mindset piece the guide calls a hard truth, which is taking responsibility.
Ooh, yes, this one resonates.
It doesn't mince words. It says, nobody is coming to save you. You are responsible for your life.
Oh, wow. Stark.
It explicitly says it's not your parents' fault, not your bosses, not the government's, not your circumstances. Only you are responsible.
And again, it's not about blame. It's about agency. It's about recognizing your power to choose your response, your actions today.
Exactly. The guide insists accepting this is incredibly liberating. You stop pointing fingers and start making conscious choices about what you eat, how you spend time, who you listen to.
It shifts you from victim to creator.
It even suggests saying it out loud. I am responsible for my life. I choose to change. And it calls that moment the beginning of true transformation.
Taking that ownership. Yeah, I can see how that would be a massive turning point. It's the foundation for everything else.
Okay, so mindset is shifting. What about the external? The guide moves on to your environment, specifically removing negative influences.
Makes sense. It's tough to swim upstream against negativity all the time.
Right. It says it's just harder to grow if you're constantly surrounded by stuff that drags you down.
Our surroundings, people, media, information, they shape us subtly, constantly.
So it prompts some questions. Do your friends lift you up or pull you back? Does your social media feed inspire you or just waste time and make you feel inadequate? Do you consume news or shows that just leave you feeling angry or sad?
Tough questions again.
And then this line, you become like the people and media you surround yourself with. Oof.
That's a wake-up call. It's urging you to actively curate your environment.
So the actions are pretty clear. Maybe distance yourself from genuinely toxic people, unfollow negative accounts, avoid unnecessary drama, and consciously spend more time with people who inspire you or are on a similar growth path.
It's about protecting your energy and focus, creating a supportive ecosystem for yourself.
It's not just removing the bad, though. It's adding the good,
Yeah.
which ties into the next point, learning new skills.
Growth through learning.
The guide is clear. To change your life, you have to grow. To grow, you have to learn new things. Seems obvious, but
But we often neglect it. Lifelong learning isn't just about careers. It expands our whole world.
it gives really practical examples. Learn English better, understand personal finance, learn to cook healthy meals, practice speaking confidently, get comfortable with basic tech skills.
Useful, empowering skills.
And it stresses you don't need formal schooling for this. YouTube, apps, library books, the resources are out there. The link it makes is that learning increases your options, often your earning potential too.
Every new skill adds a tool to your toolbox, making you more capable and adaptable.
Now this next one is huge, and maybe sometimes underestimated when thinking about life change.
Health.
Oh, fundamentally important.
The guide pulls no punches. You cannot change your life without good health. It calls your body the vehicle that carries your dreams.
Great analogy. If the car's broken down, the journey stalls.
Exactly. If you're constantly tired, unwell, in pain, where does the energy for change come from? How can your mind be clear?
It's all connected.
So it suggests starting with the absolute basics, the non-negotiables, sleep aiming for 7-8 hours, nutrition focusing on real food, less processed junk, less sugar, and exercise just moving your body daily. Walking, stretching, anything counts.
The fundamentals of self-care.
And the benefit. When your body feels better, your mind is clearer, you have more energy, you're just more capable of tackling everything else.
It underlines that transformation is holistic. Mind and body work together. You can't optimize one while neglecting the other. Okay, so we've got the why, small steps, routine, mindset shifts, environment, learning, health. Where do we channel all this? The guide says, set clear goals. They give you direction.
Right. If the why is the destination and the routine is the vehicle, the goals are the map.
I like that. It contrasts vague wishes like, I want to be rich, with something concrete. I want to save $5,000 in the next 12 months.
Specificity matters.
It outlines the key traits of good goals: specific, measurable, realistic, and time-based. SMART goals, essentially, though it doesn't use the acronym.
A classic framework for a reason. It works.
And the advice. Simple again. Write them down. Look at them. Every single day.
Keeps them top of mind. Turns abstract desires into actionable targets you're constantly aware of.
Now, to actually achieve those goals, the guide makes a really important distinction. It talks about motivation versus discipline.
Ah, yes. The difference is crucial. Motivation feels great, that initial burst of enthusiasm.
But it fades, right?
Yeah.
It's unreliable. The guide says motivation feels good, but discipline is stronger.
So how does it define discipline?
As doing what you need to do, even when you don't feel like it.
That's the core of it. Showing up when you'd rather not.
Exactly. Getting up early when tired, choosing the walk when you feel lazy, studying when it feels boring. It compares discipline to a muscle.
The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets.
Yes. The more you push through that resistance, the more capable you become of sticking to your plans and making real, sustained change. Discipline is the engine.
It's what carries you through the dips when motivation inevitably disappears. It's commitment put into practice.
And what's one of the biggest threats to that discipline, that momentum? The guide is very clear. Distractions.
And the modern plague. Phones buzzing, endless notifications, infinite scrolling.
It calls them killers of progress. They steal your time, fragment your focus, and pull you away from the actions that actually matter.
It's so easy to lose hours without even realizing it.
The guide lists the usual suspects: social media, binge watching, constant phone checking, rabbit holes online. And the advice is direct. Delete the worst offending apps. Turn off non-essential notifications. Set screen time limits. Be intentional about why you're picking up your phone.
It's about reclaiming your attention. Protecting your focus is like protecting your most valuable asset for change. It brings back a sense of control, too.
The guide also circles back to environment here, but with a slightly different angle. Not just removing the negative, but actively surrounding yourself with positive mindset influences.
Proactively feeding your mind with supportive inputs.
Yeah, it suggests things like reading books on success, discipline, growth mindset, listening to podcasts or watching videos that teach and inspire, connecting with people on a similar path, maybe finding mentors or coaches if possible.
Building that positive ecosystem we talked about.
And it makes a nice point, even if you feel alone, books and quality content can be your teachers, your mentors, your positive friends. The message is, fill your mind with good things.
Input shapes output. What you consume influences your thoughts, feelings, and ultimately your actions. It creates that upward spiral.
So as you're doing all this, the routines, the disciplined action, managing distractions, cultivating positivity, how you know if it's working, the guide emphasizes tracking your progress.
Right, because change can be slow, almost invisible day to day. Tracking makes it visible.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be complicated. A simple notebook, an app, a whiteboard, just tracking key daily habits and goal progress.
Like, did I do my 10-minute walk? Did I read my 5 pages? Did I stick to my wake-up time? Did I avoid that junk food trigger?
Yeah. And the guide says this does 2 things. 1, seeing the check marks, seeing the consistency, makes you feel proud and motivated. 2, it helps you see what's working and what's not so you can adjust your approach.
It provides that concrete evidence. Look, I am making progress. That feedback is incredibly powerful for reinforcing habits.
Okay, but the guide is also realistic. It includes a reality check section. It's honest. Changing your life is not easy.
No worthwhile transformation ever is it? It takes real effort, sacrifice.
It acknowledges there will be hard days. Days you feel exhausted, days you want to quit, days obstacles pop up seemingly out of nowhere.
And it
says that's completely normal, expected even. It quotes, "Nothing in life is easy, but everything worth having is hard."
Embracing the struggle as part of the process?
Yes. It suggests having mantras ready for those moments. This is part of the process. I am getting stronger. I will not give up. And this line, pain is temporary, growth is forever.
That reframes the difficulty. It builds resilience by normalizing challenges instead of letting them derail you. Managing expectations is key.
And closely linked to that is the call for patience and consistency. The guide warns against the trap of expecting instant results.
I tried it for a week and nothing happened mindset.
Exactly. It says most people fail because they want to see change in 1 week. Real, meaningful change takes months, even years.
It requires playing the long game.
The advice is straightforward. Be patient. Keep showing up. Focus on executing the process today rather than obsessing over the final outcome. And it offers this incredible promise. If you stay consistent for 1 year, your life will change in ways you can't even imagine today.
That's the power of compounding in action. Small, consistent efforts building exponentially over time.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground. The practical steps, the mindset shifts, the routines, the challenges. But the guide saves what it calls the most important step for last.
And that is?
Belief. Believing in yourself.
The internal foundation for everything.
Yes. Says this is crucial. Even if you failed 100 times before, even if people around you doubt you, even if you feel weak right now, you have to cultivate that belief.
How does it suggest doing that?
Through conscious self-talk. Daily affirmations like, I am strong, I'm improving, I can do hard things, my future is in my hands.
Speaking possibility into existence.
It really stresses that how you talk to yourself matters profoundly. You need to speak to yourself with love, with hope, with courage.
Because ultimately, self-belief is the fuel that powers the entire engine of change. Without that core conviction that you can do it, sustaining the effort through all the difficulties becomes almost impossible. It's the prerequisite.
So that's our deep dive into A New Life is Possible. We've walked through its roadmap, starting with that powerful why, embracing small steps, building routines, mastering your mindset by letting go of the past and taking responsibility, shaping your environment, learning, prioritizing health, setting goals, choosing discipline over fleeting motivation, managing distractions, and crucially, building that unshakable self-belief.
It's a comprehensive, yet very grounded approach.
It really is. The guide's conclusion hammers it home. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You can start today, right now. Change isn't a lottery ticket. It's the result of daily actions. Do the right things consistently and change happens. Slowly, then suddenly.
So when you boil it all down, what this guide offers you, the listener, is a clear path built on some fundamental truths. It's about finding your drive, leveraging consistency, taking ownership, curating your world, and believing in your own capacity to grow. It puts the power squarely back in your hands.
And it leaves you with those final reminders. You are not stuck. You are not your past. You have the power to grow. You can build a new life.
And then it lands with just one final, very direct question, a question aimed right at you. It simply asks, the only question is, will you start today?